I don't know if I've done a video this year. I'm not sure. If I haven't, Happy New Year, and if I have, Happy New Year again. I first of all, I'm dressed like a grandma because I'm very cold, and I don't want to turn the heating on because, well, I can't bother to go downstairs and turn it on, and our thermostat doesn't work very well, and so you either end up freezing cold or like in a sweat lodge. So I'm not going to do that. So I am wearing multiple layers, and then I have this lovely, like, I don't know what you call it, wrap shawl. I'm not sure. I got it for Christmas from my mum, and I love it. So I'm just going to use that. And then I've got a hat that I knitted myself a while back that just basically covers the mess that is my hair today. Because yeah, well, I just couldn't be bothered to do my hair today, so you know. So yeah, this video is going to be relatively quick. It's just a little, hiya, how's it going? I'm going to talk about something that I did last week, which was amazing. If I don't know if you've watched any of my previous videos, but in a couple of them I've mentioned a musical called Hamilton, and if you don't know, you should know, but if you don't know, it is one of the greatest musicals of our time. It's one of those musicals that is a once in a lifetime thing. Like it has just come out of nowhere and is phenomenal and is so relevant. You know, it's actually based on events that happened in America between the Americans and the British particularly, but you know, it's based in America around the late 1700s, and you know, so it's to do with like the War of Independence and then America becoming its own nation, and how that looked and how that worked. And so it sounds like it would actually be really dull, like any other history lesson that you've ever actually sat through. But it's not. It's like the history when you watch documentaries or when you read history books. It's really interesting, and it's so relevant to today and proves how we have not learned from our past. We keep making the same mistakes of our past over and over and over again. But it's so inspirational, and you sit through the first few numbers of the show and you're like, I need to go and save the world and change everything for the better and make everything amazing again. And you know, it's a real rallying cry, I find anyway. And on Friday, after years of waiting, because when I first heard about it, it wasn't even yet on Broadway. It came to the UK at the end of last year, and on Friday last week I went to see it, and it was amazing. It was everything I could hope for it to be. It lived up to every expectation I had and exceeded them. It was amazing, and I knew pretty much the entire thing off by heart from the soundtrack point of view because we've had it playing non-stop in my car since I turned 30, and I'm not far off 32 now. So we've been listening to this for a long time. I know it really well, and despite knowing it very well, I was still surprised by things. I was still moved by things. I was laughing a lot, and then at the end I was just weeping. It was phenomenal. It was amazing, and if you can get tickets, they're really expensive at the moment. It's the ones that are left over because it's pretty much sold out with the odd ticket available for stupid prices. But if you can get tickets, or if you're prepared to book and wait a long time for them, then please go, because it is just one of the best things you'll ever see, one of the best things you'll ever experience. And I went complete nerd on it, and I bought a hoodie, and I bought some badges, which I have yet to use. I need to use those. My husband Nick got an Oyster card holder, and I also got this t-shirt which I'm wearing. I don't know if you've got to see it. Ooh, these are the Schuyler sisters. So yeah, it was amazing. But the one thing that I wanted to pick up on, particularly that is quite relevant to some of the things I've talked about on my channel, is that I was triggered by it. I was triggered with my PTSD by it. I don't want to give too much away about the plot, but at the same time, it's a historical story, so how much can I really be giving away? And also, you can already buy the soundtrack, and you can also see pretty much everything on YouTube anyway. So, although don't watch it on YouTube, it's not as good. You need to see it in person. But anyway, okay. So there's a death of a child in it. Not like a young child. He's the child of one of the main characters. but by that point he was sort of 18. But it's still very, very sad and heartbreaking, as it would be. And because of my personal experiences, although I didn't lose a child, I felt for a time that I had, and it was very, very triggering for me. And whilst I don't regret for a second going, and I thought that I would actually be fine through that bit because I knew it was coming, I knew the songs that were around it, and so therefore was kind of prepared for it in that way. I really was, and I was crying a lot in it, but I was very much caught up in the show, so didn't realise quite how badly I'd been triggered until the end. And then I had to make my way through crowds of people to leave the theatre and to get outside and to get back home. And when I'm in a heightened state of stress, crowds are the worst thing for me. I can't handle them at all, and that's what I was going through at that point. I was triggered, even though I wasn't quite aware of it, and then suddenly I'm unable to move because of crowds of people, and I just fly off the handle, and I lose the ability to communicate. So I can't even communicate to Nick that I'm triggered and that I'm really struggling and that I need him to be patient and sensitive. And so he just thinks I'm being a bitch. I'm not being a bitch. I am being a bitch, but I'm not being a bitch for no reason. I'm genuinely unable to communicate what is going on. I'm just out. I feel completely out of control, and I start to panic, and I start to struggle to breathe, and then I start crying, and it gets a long way before I'm able to actually realise what's happening and process what's happening and handle it. And, you know, Nick luckily has seen it enough times now that he can pick up on it after a while, but it takes him a sec, as it would take anyone a sec. And I don't blame him for having a moment of like, why is she acting so, like, what? Who did I marry? This evil, horrible witch? No, just, yeah. And he gets it. He gets there, and he is able to hold on to me, and it's almost like he tethers me to the ground, and oh, thank God he was there. So I ended up having to have quite a cry session, quite a sob on his shoulder, and we walked back part way. It's the play was on at the Palace Theatre, Victoria Palace Theatre. So then we walked back to Westminster Station and got the tube home. We were staying at my parents', but got the tube from there. And so, you know, we got to have a little bit of a walk, and that helped. That gave me the space. And by that point, the crowds had sort of dispersed a fair bit. So I had the space to think and to process what had happened. And then I'm able to move on from it. And it doesn't tend to haunt me for the rest of the night. But it is jarring when that happens. And I would absolutely go and see the show again. I really want to. If I have the money, I will. But yeah, it really sort of takes its toll and makes you very tired. And the next day I was absolutely exhausted, and I had a really good day the next day because I had to conduct a wedding, which I haven't done for a long time. I don't even know if I've mentioned this, but I'm a trained celebrant, so I can do weddings, conduct weddings and naming ceremonies and funerals, which I love doing. I particularly love the weddings. It's such a wonderful thing to be part of somebody's probably their happiest day. It's really such a wonderful thing to do, but I haven't done it for a long time, so I did it, and it was a last minute thing. Someone emailed me a couple of weeks ago and was like, we need someone to come in and step in and do this for us. Could you do it? And it was brilliant. I'm so glad I did it. But leading up to it, I was absolutely beyond exhausted and ended up having to have a nap in the middle of the day because of the events the night before. Not just the fact that we'd had a bit of a late night, but just the emotional trauma. So it's a strange thing. On a day-to-day level, I feel so much better than I did 2 years ago. I feel strong, I feel confident in my parenting, I'm doing so much better. And then you can just be absolutely knocked for six by something that you're not expecting to hit you that hard. And it's astonishing. And I don't know what this means for the future. I don't know if I'm always going to be like this or whether further counselling would help with this. I mean, in all reality, I was able to move on from it very quickly. I was crying for, it was maybe 5 minutes of, or maybe 10 minutes of crying and feeling out of control and feeling like I couldn't breathe. But then I was kind of back to my normal self, apart from being really, really tired. So I don't know. I don't know if this is going to continue, if it's something that I want to tackle head on. It's a strange one. Be interesting to know if any of you have been through traumas, and if you have, how that's affected you and how you have moved on from it, and also whether it's something that's still, you know, years later is still will hit you every now and then, and you'll have a sort of step backwards. Just be interesting to know how people are managing with that. So yeah, please leave a comment below. I'd really like to know how people are dealing with their traumas in the years afterwards, and you know, the kind of triggers they have, if they have any at all. And otherwise, if you want to hear more about the escapades of my life, please click subscribe and please like this video. And yeah, I guess that's it. But the takeaway from this video is go see Hamilton, go see it now. Even if you can't get tickets, go and buy the soundtrack, listen to it on repeat. It is great, it is wonderful, and it will make you want to stand up and fight for what is right, fight for justice, and fight for the rights of all. Alright, and for now, I will see you soon. Bye!